All right, what's going on, everybody? We're back here for episode 7 of the Too Easy Project. I'm here with my good buddies. I got Eddie Smith, I got Guy Patron Jr., and I got Brandon Murray here. You guys wrestle at Loras College, right?
Yes,
Down in
sir.
Duke. Yeah. But I was gonna ask you. I saw something on social media about how Loras used to be. They were pretty bad at wrestling, like as a team, not that long ago, right?
Yeah.
Was it because of you guys? What happened?
I was probably 4 years ago. The year before Eddie and I got there, they were I think 13.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
but going into the season, what were you guys ranked as a team?
Not ranked.
You weren't.
Our freshman year, you mean? Like when we first got here?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I mean, they were 2-13, and then we got like a really good recruiting class, and then it was a rough start. But like that year, Guy got third at nationals, and our buddy Clint got fifth, and our buddy Jimmy got fifth, and then our team placed sixth, and then like people like Murray came, and we got all these studs, and then this year we just had a really crazy team.
Yeah. Cool. So what do you guys wrestle at? What's that?
No, even last year the team was capable of doing. You kind of saw what was happening.
Yeah.
And
was there a new coach or what? I mean, what's going on with the program?
Yeah. So it was like they know more than me. I transferred here last year, so as a junior. I came here, but just from like what I saw from the outside looking in, it was a new coach, a bunch of guys that were hungry. That maybe like he's from Louisiana, Eddie's from Wisconsin. As a group, cultivated a bunch of guys that wanted to win.
Yeah.
It was just a process. It's honestly crazy to like put it into perspective, going from 2-13 to 4 years later, starting the wrestling season, number 1 in the nation. Crazier for them because I saw what was happening and I was like, I want to help be a part of that and,
sure.
help take them to the next level.
Huh.
And,
That's
it was
awesome.
just, we got lucky as well. It's not just us three. It takes everybody. We had a bunch of other transfers, recruits, guys who've been here since the beginning who all buy in. Doesn't just happen,
Sure, dude. That's pretty cool. But it's too bad though about the end of the season getting cut short. And Eddie, I know this is probably your last season, right? And Guy too.
Yeah.
All three of you were seniors. Yeah.
We're all seniors.
That's too bad. So then I heard something about maybe another year of eligibility for college athletes. Is that a thing? Are you guys going to take advantage of that if it does happen?
Yeah, they're voting on it March 30th. So like obviously with D3 it's a little different because like we pay to be here.
Yeah.
And, like a lot of people are done with school, but I'd come back. I know Murray would come back. Yeah, so we'll see. They might give us like a Corona red shirt basically.
Yeah. Well, Murray, you were ranked number 1. No,
he's
Patron
number
was.
1.
Patron was, right?
Yeah. I mean, we're all based.
Yeah.
Close
I mean,
enough.
you could have just let that one go by. Not
close enough. Yeah.
Well, so you were ranked number 1 though going into it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how does that make you feel now that you don't get that chance?
It was a crazy feeling. Nothing I've ever felt before for sure. But I mean, you live to fight another day, I guess. Nothing I can do about it now. I mean, it's out of my control.
Yes.
So, but it wasn't the best feeling. I'd tell you that for sure.
Yeah. You guys just been eating a lot of food or what?
Basically.
I mean, he does that anyway. He does that shit anyway. But
I eat all day, every day, pretty much.
Yeah.
In season, out of season, but we've been eating a lot more now. I'd say.
Yeah. It's really hard to put into perspective like how it made us feel because not saying nothing against you or anyone else. If you're not really a part of it, it's hard to really comprehend.
Sure.
even for like, there's even a gap I would like to think between us and like almost any other team that are there because most guys are most guys are there happy to be there. Then there's like another group of guys who like really want to be there, want to be an All-American, and then there's like a very, very small percentage at the top that are like everyone wants to be a national champion, but the small percentage at the top that believed it, we were a part of that. And then just the history behind everything, we all have our own individual stories that drive us even more. And then the community and program and the things that we were able to accomplish this year, the way everything leading up to everything, and then literally being in the national arena, walking around. We're 12 hours away from weigh-ins, we, and I could speak for all of them. We dedicate everything to this virtually, it's hard. Like even the smallest things that people don't even realize are sacrifices, we give those things up every day. And to and now this is over, let alone our entire careers, but just college alone, that's 4 years of virtually not being a college student. People don't understand. All we do is homework, wrestle, the occasional socialization between us and our few friends, and just because when you put in so much time too, it's just you almost don't have time for all that other stuff. And when you do, the energy is not there. You're so focused. We were so focused on this goal that it almost felt like we already achieved it in a way before it happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's why I was asking what it felt like for you guys, because it's not like, all three of you are obviously really talented naturally at wrestling, but it's not like, you just would have walked into the tournament coming up here and performed however well. You had to put in however many years of dedication leading up to this point.
And
that's what you're missing,
even if you go ahead.
And going into the tournament, you're peaking mentally and physically, right? So you're doing everything right. You're you're eating spinach every day and vegetables, not doing everything expecting this this tournament to go your way, and then you're gonna get what you want or all American or whatever, and then you deal with it. But then it's just peaking for a month, looking forward to this experience, and then all of a sudden it's just gone, and you're just left there what did I just eat spinach for a whole month for? And then on top of that, as soon as we got back, all right, now I guess we can at least relax. But we're locked in quarantine now, basically. So that double sucks. But
so you had to go from practicing eating at the caliber that you were going to perform at the tournament, and then straight to not only not competing, but to sitting on your couch for a few weeks here.
Dude, I mean, in reality, I don't know how they feel. That was in my mind supposed to almost be, thus far, be disregarding when I get married and have kids and all that. This is supposed to be virtually the greatest moment of my life, period. I'm sure that they can have some sort of the amount of time and effort you put in. It's I mean, clearly it's more than just liking the sport, it's a passion that we all have. And
so what now? Goal. What are you guys going to do now then?
So, I mean,
I think, especially the three of us, I think we're all on route to try and make a world team and eventually the Olympics.
Sure. And
I mean, what else can what do we really do? We just drop everything. That's what we did our whole life.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. How you see people posting all over the place, their season gets canceled and they're oh, and then they're instantly take the hat off to the sport. Thanks for having me. I'm out. I'm I can't even imagine that. The only thing that's been holding me together is this 2 days. I know that they're going to give us the next 3 year eligibility. Knock on wood. But that really drives me a lot too, because I'm it can't end like this. And even if it does per se, I'm grateful for all the opportunities and the people that I've met. These dudes are my best friends that I couldn't imagine having. I've only been here for 2 years, like I said, but regardless of outcome, honestly, man, wouldn't change it though.
Dude, I like what you said too about how Loras was, and am I pronouncing that right? I guess I don't know for sure.
Yeah,
Loras. Yeah. So, they were 2-13 at a few years ago, and now they were, you guys are doing super well, bringing the program back. But you don't find that sort of thing if you were to wrestle maybe for a D1 school, like I told Eddie, I was watching the Big Ten championships the other day again on Hulu, and you see all these teams like Penn State, Ohio State, and Iowa and things like that. And if you guys were to walk onto that program, you would have had success as a team immediately, do you think it would have like formed that brotherhood, that bonding that you guys have said that you've committed to each other, you know?
I'm sure that they do, but because they already have like established cultures as well. Like when I even me transferring here 2 years ago, like yeah, they took 6, but then the year before they had some adversity and didn't place. I think they had one All-American. So from going from that to 5 the following year, like that just took a lot of. Yes, that was individual bonding, but I think that's there with all teams. I don't want to say ours is like super duper special in comparison to every single person ever, but like there's definitely something that makes it special. Like, that was the big reason I came here I didn't want to just join the team that was the best and like, oh, let me just join these guys and keep going. I wanted to be a part of what they were doing. And it definitely makes a difference.
But is there anything about like the clout of being on a D1 team or having, like you went to a D3, you transferred to a D3 school, but like someone like Seth Gross who goes from SDSU to Wisconsin, and would you guys, given the opportunity, have moved to a D1 school for that extra, I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but maybe feeling of achievement, I guess, because it's almost on a bigger stage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like I mean, there's obviously like I would love to be a Division I wrestler, but it wasn't really in the cards. Like I could have tried to go D1, and then a lot of people do that, and they're studs, but they end up sitting on the bench behind someone for 3 or 4 years, and like so that's one drawback. And then the other thing about D3 is like there is really no clout. You're basically just doing it because you like wrestling.
Yeah.
And like wrestling's such a hard, grueling sport. It's like who would do that just for fun? So it's like it definitely brings together a special group of people. Like I feel like Loras Wrestling's been like I've met the most interesting people in my life because you kind of got to be a little bit crazy to do like Division III wrestling, I think. So I like it for that reason.
Do you think it's overlooked though, how D1 gets all the attention and D3
I had a
kind of
somewhat different perspective on it too because I wanted to go D1. That was one of my goals once I transferred. Like beforehand, I think the biggest reason all of us went D3 is that we also didn't realize our potential as well. Like, I don't know, for me at least, I didn't see how high the ceiling was originally, So, like, in reality, me going D1, like you said, I might have been a backup for 2-3 years because I might have just took the back seat, you know what I'm saying? Just because, oh, this guy's here, that guy's there.
Sure.
So, I don't really know if that's necessarily what would have happened, but I think that was I think that D3 has not as much abundance, but like the top guys, like I've only lost to Division III wrestlers this year. Like I'm undefeated against D1 wrestlers. I beat the NAIA national champion this year. Like it's not like people like don't understand like the top guys compete. There's guys like that are still to this day that are Division III making world teams.
Sure.
It's just harder though that we have less assets. We have less. There's just everything. I go to a D1 facility, whether I'm the starter or not, I still have access to this top-notch facility with the best trainers and the best this, the best that, recovery, all that stuff. Technology as far as athletics go, like, so they are definitely at an advantage as well.
Yeah.
In that aspect, which is good for them, obviously.
I wrestled in high school and I did okay. I should have done better than I did. But I think part of the reason why I didn't do as well as I should have in the end was because I went to a really small school where wrestling wasn't that important. I didn't have to fight for a spot.
Right.
There was a guy in the weight room who was my weight and was pretty good, but there was no pressure to perform well in order to wrestle varsity.
Right.
So I don't know if you guys felt that same way in D3, as if, maybe you have that spot. You don't have to sit on the bench like Eddie was saying, like if you were to go D1. But do you feel like that would have pushed you maybe a little bit harder to really to try to earn that spot, if you know what I'm trying to say?
I feel like the difference between the D2 or the main difference between D3 and D1 is like D3, like Murray said, everyone's tough, but if you get tired, you can always grab someone who's not that good and just beat the crap out of them. In D1, I don't think you really have that option.
So there definitely are guys like that in D1.
Nonstop.
Sure.
That's true. They're probably
There 100% are. 100%. I know some. I know her.
What was I gonna say though? But oh yeah, I wanted to say like I don't think I didn't qualify my freshman and sophomore year. I was close, but I didn't get to the level I'm at where I'm top 5 in the country until Murray and Jacob Crayco got here. So that's 2 kids at my weight who were studs who I could, or not at my weight, but 57, 74, who I could wrestle with every day. So like I feel like that's what pushed me to another level in my wrestling was that competition.
Yeah, I feel bad comparing high school to college wrestling too.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It's not the same. I mean,
I
it's
never
really
even
not.
made it
And
to state in high school. I lied. I made it in my state senior year. I didn't even do nothing.
Really.
So just to give perspective of how much work we put in as well.
Sure.
You know, like he said, he went from 5th in the region to 4th in the nation in 1 year. You know, obviously it wasn't 1 year because he's already had those abilities. It's just those small steps that like people overlook, those small tweaks that like make huge differences.
I just think you can't see how much the difference in the skill between high school and college just by watching the matches. I mean, if you know wrestling, you can, but a lot of times, you know, it's hard to tell the jumps and bounds that you guys have made in that couple of years.
Yeah, it's all the small stuff, and then results speak for themselves after that. You know.
I mean, you take like we had a guy from my high school back in the 70s. I think he won state 3 times, lost 2 matches all of high school, went to wrestle for the Badgers and couldn't cut it.
Yeah.
You know,
that happens all the time, though.
Yeah.
That happens all the time.
That's just crazy.
There's guys, like every guy on our team is a state champion, basically. It's not like
– It have to be.
The same here, yeah.
You can't
and that's the part that guys break because imagine this, I'm a 4-time state champion and I'm not used to losing. Now I'm fighting for a spot to start, let alone I'm not the best guy in the entire, reign of things. Yeah. So I think that's why guys end up breaking. Like things don't go right for them 1 year. They're just so used to winning that,
I know. And that's why I think the kids that really had to fight for it in high school and didn't win every single match, and weren't used to that necessarily, might have at least been more prepared for the reality of college wrestling.
It definitely varies.
It varies for sure. Oh, of course. Yeah. So I guess let's move on to something else if you guys don't mind. I want to talk about how you guys can cut weight so dramatically in college. I don't know what you guys weigh in the off season, but I know, Guy, you said you don't really cut weight, so this doesn't pertain to you.
No, I don't cut weight. I like to eat too much.
But how do you guys? But you see all these wrestlers who are shredded, but I mean they're big. You got to, and not even keeping muscle mass, but you have to be able to perform well, have enough energy, and at least be strong, during the matches. So how do you cut weight so quickly and dramatically, but still maintain your power and agility and energy and things like that?
Murray, you can answer that one probably, unless you don't want to.
King weight cutting over here. No, it's more. I mean, everyone has a different method, but like I personally feel like I found the best method for me. I never had to cut so much weight until this year, really. Just the way our team worked out. This was the weight class I planned on wrestling anyway, so it would just help make our team even deeper, honestly, and better. So really, it's all about like doing it last minute because the most important is way before the weight cut even starts. Way before this match day is the months leading up are more important than the day before. Like the number one goal at first is to lose as much body fat as possible. Getting down to where like you're around that 6-7% where there's nothing slowing you down. You're literally even if your conditioning isn't there, your shape is to where there's really there's nothing because when you cut weight, you don't just lose fat. Like I don't go for a run and just lose a pound of fat. It's water weight. So if you have all this fat, you're just depriving yourself of other things that you need. So that is to lead up. And then really I cut all the water like within 24 hours because if I'm dehydrating myself or depriving myself earlier throughout the week, I'm not getting enough nutrients to supplement the workout and then to recover from the workout. So I have to eat full meals all week. I need to drink water. Water is what transports the nutrients throughout your body. So that's all necessities leading up. And then 24 hours, you do a little taper leading up. So you're not like, you're not training extremely hard, especially leading up for like a national tournament. You don't taper for every competition. It's impossible. But leading up for the national tournament, I want to be to where my body is almost virtually pain-free as possible. So then once I am beginning to cut weight, my legs aren't already tired. I get rid of the weight cut. I'm fully hydrated, so the water weight comes off fairly quick. And then, you stay dehydrated. You're dehydrated and maybe deprived a little bit for a very short period of time. And then bang, way into there, and I'm back, putting everything back in my body to the best of its ability. And, the longer, like I said, the less weight you have to cut, though, and the shorter period of time that you do it in is actually better, because it's just less stress on your body for a prolonged period of time. So I personally don't recommend cutting weight. If you have to cut more than like 5 or 6 pounds, like, you need to figure something else out.
Sure.
Because unless you, everyone's different. Again, some like Guy, look at he can be the number 1 wrestler in the nation without cutting weight at all. But some guys are also doing better. They cut down a weight class and now they're fucking, super dominant, and then they go up a weight. Like, we have a guy on our team who tried to go up a weight class last year, returning All-American. It just wasn't cutting it for him. He got back down to 41, and he's a potential national champion again. So it's like it really varies from person to person.
So, do you guys worry about what the specific kinds of foods, though, that you are putting in your body to refuel, like you said, refuel? And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, even if it's like weight doesn't, like, the weight of the food doesn't matter. Food
I know
doesn't
that's
weigh a lot. It's the quality. It's the quality that you're putting in. If I have a pound I could put in, just for example purposes, I eat a pound of Oreos, or I eat a half a pound of chicken and a half a pound of veggies, my energy levels are going to be ridiculously different. Like, that's all important. Like, people don't realize it until you're eating clean, until you're eating, like Eddie said, until you're eating spinach for every meal, mixing with every meal, getting your greens, doing all that. You don't really feel the benefits until you're really doing it,
Yeah. And maybe if you're within, you're within a half pound the day of weigh-ins, then you kind of worry about what the food weighs itself at that point.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't even matter. Right. Well, it does for, like I said, energy, quality of food purposes. But for example, if I have a pound to eat and I got weigh-ins an hour, I can eat a half a pound of Oreos. I mean, if I really wanted to, I make weight.
Yeah.
So it's like, it definitely. That was a big thing that I think had transitioned from, like, being younger as well. Like, I was always eating candy still and stuff, not thinking it made a difference.
Yeah.
And then I cut it out, and then it's almost like cut it out for a couple of weeks, and next thing you know, you're like 3, 4, 5 pounds lighter than you were. You're like, what the fuck? I could have sworn there was no room left to lose weight. But
like you said, with the water weight too, people would hear, oh, you gain 10 pounds over the weekend and then lose 7 that next day.
Like I said, that's water weight.
Yeah.
Like,
People don't
understand that either. How do you lose 10? It's just sweating. I don't know. That's what we do for a living. We sweat every day. I lose. I'm and lose 6, 7 pounds in a practice because I'm going hard. You know what I'm saying? People wearing sweats and shit, you're actually just overheating and honestly hindering your performance. If you're wearing sweatpants, sweatshirt every practice, like, the room's already hot. You work harder, you sweat more. Like, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. Well, I guess, guys, since you don't have to really watch your weight, I'm sure once the wrestling season starts, you naturally start to lose some weight, though, through, like you said, sweating and just the gruesome practices and things like that. So you still must have to watch what you eat and your intake, right?
Yeah, I mean, I probably start the season around like 215, and then end up walking around 205 once season rolls around. But I like to get down, like, say we weigh in on a Saturday. I like to get down on Friday, like, lower than my weight class, and then Friday night I'll just carb load up, eat as much as I can, pretty much, be able to eat and drink a good meal beforehand. And I mean, I'm obviously very fortunate to be able to do that. Yeah. I'll sit and eat all, but I do have to eat healthy, because it does, like he was saying, obviously not the weight being in it, how I feel. And I definitely can, tell that I haven't been eating as well, and on a certain, like, maybe an off week, I just don't feel as well compared to, the day before a tournament when I'm eating as much rice and chicken as I can.
Yeah.
I can bounce the carb load as well. I just get done cutting weight. I like walk into to one of our rooms and there he is eating like a triple sandwich.
What? No, I can't even imagine what practices are like for you guys, or what workouts are in the weight
Dude,
room, or anything
we
like
have a
that.
good program, man. It's practice is as hard as you make it. Like
Yeah.
we practice for like an hour and a half tops.
Really?
Like we don't even do a crazy amount of extra conditioning either. Like we leave that up to like our individuals, which is a big reason why as us as a team and leaders like us as leaders on the team, we push for guys to do more, because that's what our coach sets us up for as well. Especially if you're not going with the best guys in practice, like it's easy to take a break. I was that guy too at one point in time where like, oh, I had an easy guy, I could take an easy day type of shit. And I get it too, because guys lose interest and focus when they aren't prioritized. Think about, like I said, all these guys were like state qualifiers, state champions, etc. So now they're not even starting, especially when it gets closer to like postseason. There's no more tournaments left. They're not making weight anymore and whatnot. So like making sure everyone's focused and stuff and keeping on them is good, because that's why us having that goal of a national title as well molds everyone together. Like we all want to work hard. There aren't many guys who aren't, even when they are wrestling someone they're better than, like that are taking it easy. Like there's not often that I need to start yelling for someone to start wrestling. For the majority, everyone's there for a reason. Everyone knows why they came to Loras College, and we all love to scrap. So
But between practices, between weight training, between any cardio you have to do outside of it, I mean, that's a lot out of your day, especially when you got classes to worry about and anything else. How do you reconcile, or prioritize practices versus keeping up your strength versus losing the weight? I mean, do you guys still find yourself in the weight room a lot, or what?
Yeah, I mean, like Murray said, our practices are like an hour, so you can basically give yourself whatever you need. So like, I feel like I need to lift some weights, I'll go lift. Like our 74 Krakow, like he lifted all the time because he couldn't keep his weight up really. Or like if you want to work on some technique, you can grab a coach and go for an hour in the morning. Yeah. And like time management's huge in college. I feel like this year I was working for Bernie while I like 2 jobs, was going to school and was cutting a bunch of weight. Like it was just too much. But you got to learn to just manage your time. Like that's one thing college teaches you more than anything. It's or college sports is how to like manage your time, because you're on your own. You don't have to go to class, but like if you don't go to class, then you're gonna fail out. So.
Yeah. And you're there to wrestle for, a lot of the guys are there at college to be able to wrestle. Wrestling's not, It can't really be that back burner thing, probably.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna
otherwise
win
much. Otherwise you probably just go and just get your ass beat every day.
But that's,
I respect the people who still show up and do that as well.
Yeah. So then what do you guys see as far as your performance though in the weight room, in on the mat, as the season progresses, as you're practicing more? I mean, what are the changes that you see endurance wise or strength wise, or even just changes in your body? Or I guess what I'm trying to ask is as the season goes on, you might feel really strong at the beginning when you're heavier, or when you're able to put in more work or whatever. And then at the end of the season, as you're trying to finalize your fine tune everything, I don't know, at least for me in high school, I always felt super weak at the end of the season because it was just a lot of cutting, a lot of watching my weight, and a lot of just hard practices. So how do you stay strong at the end of the season here for this national tournament?
I mean, I think personally, well, what it sounds like to me is like you kind of burned yourself out.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, like that's the thing is like, one, coming in like this practice with intention every day, so it doesn't get so wearing on you. Like I come in with like, I know what I want to get better at. I know what I need to do. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
There was rarely days that I'm like, fuck, I have practice today. And that used to be me, in the past. And every day I'm excited for practice because you make yourself excited. It's a decision in that aspect. And then for feeling good at the end of the year, like I said, I think that because we get a lot of time off by the end of the year from our last duel to nationals is a month, and we only have one competition in between. So like especially coming off like big dual wins, like off Wartburg and stuff. It actually made, for me at least, it was even making me hungrier, getting more excited for the postseason because we had a lot of goals ahead of us as well. Like I said, we come in with attention, we know why we're here, and then when we're not in the room, which is more important, like what you do in the hour and a half practice is the least important thing you're doing. Every single person in the nation practices, no matter what, who you are, JV, national champion, everybody has a practice to go do. So if you're only doing that, then that's the minimum. So that's why you need to be doing the right things in there, prioritizing what you need as an individual, which is harder to do as you're younger as well. Luckily, we're seniors, we're more experienced, we understand what we need as individuals. But as far as like not getting worn down, that's like then you need to take that proper rest. If you really feel like you're, especially you got the tournament, a state tournament coming up in 3 weeks, and right now you're feeling like trash. You need to figure out how to make yourself not feel like trash anymore. You keep doing the same thing over and over, and you're still feeling like trash. Well, that's a definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over, thinking that you're going to get a different result.
Yeah. I think that's why we keep our practices short too, because the season's super long.
45 minutes by the postseason, like.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, Eddie, were you doing something like rope climbing at one point? You had some competition. What was that?
We have a rope climb competition. So it's Friday. You go do an arm workout, and then you do as many rope climbs as you can for that day, like till you stop. And this kid, Tad, who wrestles the same weight as me, he's the man who just it just got really heated, like really close. So I ended up going early in the morning, and we ended up staying there from like 10 a.m. till like 9 p.m.
Jeez.
And I think I did 69, and he did like 60 some rope climbs.
In one day, right?
Yeah, that was for that day. Yeah, over 100 total.
Was it like Zeke?
It's a big ceiling too. It's high.
Yeah, I bet
It is high. You'll die if you fall.
Someone was bringing you food for between climbs too.
Yeah, my buddy Brody brought me a sandwich, and then the only person who beat me in total rope climbs was Zeke. Dude, I couldn't do anymore by the end. I wanted to beat him, but I fell off the rope 3 times, and I thought I was gonna die, so I stopped.
Your hands were probably torn up after that, huh?
And my shoes. I've ruined 2 pairs of shoes.
Shoes. You wouldn't believe it, actually.
That's crazy. But I don't know how much time we got left on this thing. It won't tell me, but I know on here you only get about 40 minutes of time. But you guys could probably have a bunch of crazy stories. And if you can just think of one, just a crazy story you guys practice, any tournament you've seen, match, teammate, anything like that. I'll give you guys a couple minutes to think about it.
Good, Eddie. We'll all do one. Go ahead, Eddie. You go first. Go quick.
Okay.
Give me a quick story.
Okay. Maybe I don't know if this is appropriate, but it's pretty funny, and we're graduated now, so it's okay.
Oh, shit. Let me get my head out the screen. What's happening?
On our way home from nationals, we got second last year. So it was for some reason our coach scheduled our flight home from Virginia at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. and it was also daylight savings time. So we obviously were out celebrating at the bars our tournament win, or getting second at the tournament, and then all of a sudden time skips forward an hour, and we're like, oh, we got to get to the airport, and everyone's just hammered except for our coach. And we're running through the airport, people are peeing outside of our vans and throwing up into garbage cans. And, the TSA tried to kick us out because one of our guys was too drunk, and
we went to the wrong terminal too.
Yeah.
God.
So that was probably the craziest. It was.
He left out a lot of details, but yeah, that was.
Yeah, there's more stuff that happened, but.
That one. Any story. It don't matter. That'd be crazy.
Oh my guy.
I'll say something. This isn't necessarily a story. It's just to give some other perspective. Our team, we had, like I said, we had a weird bond as well. Almost every big competition that we were at, we're joking around in line, laughing, doing dumb shit. Everyone else is, whether serious, looking sad because they're cutting weight, whatever the case is. No matter what, our team always found a way to have a good time. We're sitting on day 2 of regionals, right? we're chilling at the weigh-in, and for whatever reason, we all have our phone on us. And like I said, there's literally the line of every guy here that you're about to wrestle looking miserable behind us, and then there's us. It's us on like a FaceTime video call with like a 6-way call in our different lines, just laughing, joking around, like putting like there's like you could do like different filters like on our faces, and like we got guys in my line just looking at me like, what is wrong with these guys? But it's just funny because I would love to hear the perspectives of the other people, like from the outside looking in, of who we are. Like I know who we are, but it'd be interesting to think like what the other people think.
Well, I mean, it's just hard for people to understand too the bonds that you can make through wrestling too. I mean, from what I've seen, who I've talked to, like you saying, I mean, a lot of times you just don't find that in other sports. And I'm sure you guys play different sports in high school, or know people who play in different sports in college at Loras. But I mean, what is there about wrestling that forms those bonds? I mean, what do you think it is?
I think that one of the things about wrestling is that just the intensity of the training that we go through together, and also just the fact that when we're wrestling, like we're wrestling each other, and like switching partners a lot every day. So obviously, I think people are gonna have like that really a lot closer of a bond somewhere around their weight, just because they're sitting there and literally going through it with each other, wrestling each other. And I think just the fact that as a team going through that, just how intense wrestling is, and how intense it has to be, like he was talking about earlier, outside the practice room, because every other team in the country, has one practice a day. So what are you going to do outside of that, to beat everyone else? And I think that that's unique for wrestling. I mean, obviously, every sport has their conditionings that they do, but I think wrestling is unique in that sense that it brings us closer together through basically through the pain that we endure together.
Yeah,
I think it stems from like a respect standpoint, honestly. Like we all go through the same thing, So like even when you see other sports, like trash talking is a thing more. Like in wrestling, there are like the individuals maybe that talk on like the internet, but I feel like we just all have such a mutual respect for each other because we know what it takes to be where we're at right now. That like we don't you don't really often see like people being, I don't know.
Well, too, I mean, you're literally you're putting a guy's face in the mat, on a daily basis.
We're the closest thing to legalized fighting.
Yeah, and there's something about that.
Everyone should do a martial art because like we have so many problems with like bullying and like kids are just punks. Like I'm not saying all kids, but obviously kids have troubles in wrestling, and martial arts allows you to focus your energy on something. And it's like you said, if Murray and I have beef, we can go wrestle and like then we'll shake hands and it'll be over, like like I wish martial arts were like part of our education system.
Sure. Well,
I probably wrestle the least out of everybody. Things aren't going my way, I just start throwing elbows. I'm just kidding.
Oh, Guy, do you have any story that you thought of? If you don't, that's all right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think Loras, as like he was saying about like sitting in the team line, we're always just messing around, joking or whatever. I think just like the success that we've had together over the past couple of years, it's just, I mean, it makes it fun. Obviously, it's gonna be fun when you're winning, and I think that also plays a huge factor on we're all so close with each other. Just the last couple of years been grinding and winning, and it's been fun for sure. But I'm gonna go ahead and call him out. I do have a story. So we were at national duels, I think January, and as you were talking about cutting weight earlier, Murray got off the mat after a loss to a match you probably shouldn't have lost. That's what he would tell you. But
yeah, I'm the best guy in the nation.
He gets off the mat. He's obviously a little pissed afterwards, and coach is walking up to him, just trying to like console him and stuff. And any wrestler that goes and loses a match, they don't really want to hear anything.
I hate that.
That's not true. He was insulting me.
Oh yeah.
He was telling me I need to do something differently. It's not true. Just to throw something out there. He wasn't consulting shit.
But so, no wrestler wants to be told anything, after walking off the mat. I mean, especially, literally while still on the mat. You don't want to be told to do something different. But so they're sitting over in the corner arguing, and it's a dual meet. So there's another match going, literally,
Me.
back to back. It's going, Eddie was wrestling. And they kind of walk over to the side a little bit, and they're still like arguing with each other. I don't know what exactly our coach was telling them, but
he told me I haven't cut weight good enough.
Yeah. So, and everyone was kind of listening in, but also trying to watch Eddie's match, and then all of a sudden it got really heated very quickly, and we hear Murray yell, just probably at the top of his lungs, nobody has better abs than I do. Everyone kind of looks like, what the hell is going on? And he's like, no one has a better diet than I do and eats more vegetables than I do. And like,
hey, to give you some perspective, I just beat the number 1 and number 3 guys in the nation right before that. And then I lose to somebody who wasn't what you know what I'm saying? So it really came down on me. It was on me that I just didn't perform up to my ability. And then my coach is trying to tell me I didn't perform because of these reasons that he's pulling out of his butt, I felt like. And if you knew me, you get it. The context would make a little more sense as well.
Well, I'm sure if you hadn't just lost the match, it would have been easier.
GTL, baby, got my shirt off all the time and shit. So it's like, so it just makes fun. Now they bring it up every single time. They're like, "Oh, Murray's on weight. Yeah, best abs in the nation." I'm like, "Can't wait for that." I hate all of you.
God.
It's like partially joking, but like,
But like you do or what?
like that wasn't like a point. Like, oh, look at these abs. But yeah, they're nice though. They're nice.
So, dude, that's awesome. Thanks for coming on today, guys. I really appreciate that.
We appreciate it. It was a good
That's
time.
awesome. Yeah.